This is the hypervigilant mindset.
What you know about? What you know about?
Hypervigilant mindset.
What you know about? Oh, wow. What you know about being hypervigilant? All it took was that one trauma incident. Now you work with anxiety in this society. Try to figure out how to deal with it. You go to the doctor to help you fix. But all they prescribe you is medicine. You really need therapy for mental clarity. You can do it in small bites if you wish. I've seen folks on their worst days, lost in despair, guiding them through a crisis, showing them there, telling you that you got this. We can show you as well if you tune in to our podcast. It's called Hypervigilant Mindset, helping the cognitive process. We break down different topics, making them easy to digest. Through every track, we'll find our song and the Hypervigilant Mindset. Yeah.
This is the Hypervigilant Mindset Podcast, and I am your host, Sheena Glover.
And I'm your co-host, Rashawn McNeal-Lee.
Welcome back to our second episode number 2. We are very excited to be back again, having these very important conversations. And if you didn't get to join us in the first episode, you can always go back and listen to that episode again. We're on all platforms that are streaming podcasts. And we also have our YouTube channel for you individuals who may be a little bit more visual. Today's topic of discussion is going to be listening versus being heard. And it's a great conversation topic, something that we ran into very recently, which is going to offer some rich discussions and some insights into communications and to the relationships.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know, today we're just here to kind of give y'all a little insight of what we went through just recently and how it kind of was a good pivoting point to start this episode and see how y'all will see what y'all take from it and see what y'all kind of think about it just from y'all feedback that we will get from y'all after y'all hear this. So I'm just gonna pretty much just have you kind of give them a little insight of what occurred, what kind of triggered you to be like, okay, we're gonna do this, you know.
So there's a lot of things that have happened in the course of my career specifically, and also in our relationship as we navigate what is a normal, how do we communicate, am I truly listening? So as a first responder, I've been EMT paramedic since 19 years old. And so a lot of what we're taught is you get in, you solve the problem, and you move on, because a lot of the incidents that we deal with are of critical nature and they're very urgent and emergent, and you don't have time to waste trying to listen to a long story. You just need the meat and the potatoes, and I need to know the stone cold facts of how can I help you and resolve the issue that you're experiencing. So some of the shortfalls as a mom, especially without a spouse or individual in here to really navigate things with us or really bounce some of the conversation off of, I'm in the role of the fixer. I'm the end all be all. Let's resolve it. What does that look like for you in regards to being the innate problem solver of the family? So sometimes when I come into a situation, it's very much what's wrong. Here's what we do to fix it. And we're going to really discuss the challenges of really taking away that emotional side of exchange that comes into not only being a problem solver, but really truly engaging and meeting someone where they're at.
Yeah, for sure. I also feel like just that tactic of thinking is very good for what y'all do, you know, especially in y'all field, just dealing with a lot of patients and y'all get on calls, you know, like 10, 15 calls at a time a night. So it's like kind of good to have like that mentality. But I feel like when you're at home, it's a little bit different. I feel like you can't translate that over to just how you deal with things at home. I feel like you have to take your time a little bit more, hear that other person out a little bit, give them some time to kind of be able to express themselves in the way that they're able to, you know, and also listen to what they're saying and hear them. You know what I mean? So this is gonna be a big back and forth today on just how our relationship is. I'll get a little insight of how we are and the things that we're working on and that we're trying to get better to build a stronger foundation for our unit that we got going. And you know,
I guess from your perspective, a good question to start with from me to you is, why do you think it's important for individuals to feel heard and understood, on a personal level, not just in their professional life?
I think it's very important for an individual to be heard and understood just because it draws a line on where y'all stand in y'all relationship, you know, and it kind of shows, okay, well, I'm getting the same energy reciprocated back. Like when you talk about your day, I'm all eyes and ears. I listen to you. I take it all in, you know, and I process, okay, this is what's going on. This is how she feeling, you know, and then that gives me cues on what I need to do to probably make that better for you, or, you know, just kind of do better on spots that you need help with or that you're overwhelmed with. So it's just like it just helps you just understand that person better, really, and just allowing them to just having their time to really do that and show you who they really are. So you just get a chance to see that person, you know, for real. That's what I say. That's important. On the personal side, you know, you can't really speed feelings. I feel like you can't rush people's feelings. You gotta let them be in the realm where they feel completely comfortable, you know, and really wanting to share whatever information they have, you know, but you gotta be willing to listen too. And people can pick up on the energy if you want to listen or not, you know. So
And I think that that's a huge disconnect
yeah,
sometimes with us, because when you think I'm not listening or that you're not being heard in a conversation, the body language shifts.
yeah,
And I see that change of behavior, I see that change in attitude. And then there's a level of expectation that is required from me to you of wanting you to navigate that space differently. And it's more of, I find myself becoming frustrated because I think that I synthesize information very rapidly just based on my level of training. And
hmm,
sometimes we can be having the same conversation, but not be on the same page, and could be completely sharing the same type of feedback, but it's not being processed in the way that it needs to, because now there's defenses
yeah.
in the way. So, what are some things that you feel stand as barriers for you when those difficult conversations occur and you feel as if you're not getting what you need or being heard in the situation?
I feel like the main barrier is like I feel like the patience between you and I is short, you know. It's very short. And it's with both of us. It's not just with one person, you know what I mean? It's not just a you thing or a me thing. It's a us thing. You know what I mean? So it's like the thing that I see the issue with us is just really our patience is thin with each other, and we have to work on that. You know, you have to allow that person that's obviously not there with that type of level of training mentally as you to fully express themselves in a way that they can. And sometimes it might be, you know, like a little backstory to some more story. You know, it might be something, but that's just how that person is to kind of get themselves really in that mode to be like, okay, now I can really conversate because now I broke the ice a little bit, you know, like, you know, getting really comfortable now, you know, allowing them to just, you know, be them. I feel like sometimes you be rushing me and I'll be like, damn, like, you know, like, I'll be like, damn, man, like, relax. Like, I'm going to get to the story, but just allow me to just be me. Like, allow me to just do me. Like, when I'm conversating, allow me to conversate. Listen to my ass, because I do that to you. I don't be interrupting your ass. I don't be trying to rush your feelings. I be like, okay, you talking. I'm I see you cooking up. You got something to really say. So I'm gonna listen to you and I'm really gonna hear you. Sometimes I feel like that's the part that be getting me frustrated because I see that and that just kind of make me put that barrier up because it's just like, all right, well, you interrupting me every time I talk. It's like you're trying to pick out what the issue is and then solve it quick. And I don't need that from you. I just need you to listen to me. That's it. That's all I need. That's gonna fix my problems. You give me a solution is not gonna fix it because that's not what I wanted from you. I just wanted your eyes and ears. I just wanted your attention. I wanted that compassion. I wanted that mom, I wanted that, like, just to feel the presence of you actually engaging in the conversation versus trying to decipher it, That's the main thing.
I can respect that because a lot of the times in the work that I do, it's let me solve it. Let me fix it. Let me figure out what's going on so we can stop whatever issue is happening right now to get you back to some level of homeostasis or normal.
Yeah.
And so, like, sometimes when there's a conversation that comes up, such as what occurred the other day, it is really, truly, I don't need the long story. Just tell me what the problem is. And I feel like there's a lot of filtering that happens when we have particular conversations. And for me, that's challenging because I don't want that. I want to just know what it is so that I can work through whatever it is that needs to be worked through. So in even hearing you say, sometimes I just need you to hear me and to listen and to not necessarily seek to fix it, but to just be present with me in this moment as I really work through my feelings, not the issue of what's happening right now, but the feeling part. But it makes me think of things that I've gone through in my career, like when I've had struggles or issues or problems, and I've gone to like human resources to be like, hey, these things are happening to me. And then for them to be on the defensive and looking at ways in which they can prevent a lawsuit versus truly just hearing what happened. And I really can respect that a lot because I know what that feels like from being on the reverse side of it. Because I know from an organizational standpoint, if we're looking at it from a work-based situation, that majority of the time people ain't looking to sue. They just want to be heard. They want to be seen. They want someone to acknowledge what they have gone through or experienced. And so I think that that's really critical in the greater scheme of what we're doing. Hey, everybody, this is Legend has entered the building and is now a part of the conversation. Say hi.
Hi. Hi.
That's Legend. He is here getting some water. All right, go back. So when it's situations between us, like mom and son, like when there is a conflict or a disagreement, what do you feel would be the best resolution for you in those situations? If you had to give advice to other parents who may be having struggles communicating with their kids, what are some things that you've experienced that you would like to share in regards to your insights?
I think the main thing is patience play a big part of this all, because if you don't have it, it's gonna be hard for you to kind of work on it, because it's like if your temper or whatever frustration, it gets cut on super quick, it's gonna be hard for you to turn that button off, especially when you're in that moment and emotions is high. So I think really working on patience, and also just slowing yourself down sometimes too, especially if you're a parent like my mom that likes to resolve it, quick and then move on. Slow yourself down, relax, and just fully allow your kid to just, express themselves at how they can, and have a calm demeanor. You know what I mean? Like, have it to where you're here, like they can feel it, because actions and energy shows louder than words. Words is just the part to just potentially make somebody feel better, but if your actions is different, they gonna be able to see that and be like, okay, well, your words don't really mean nothing because how you moving is totally different than what you saying right now. So I don't really care about all that. But, just really sit there, be compassionate, to your kid, show empathy, because their feelings matter as much as your feelings matter, and I understand that you might be paying all the bills, putting clothes on their back, putting money on their car so they can have some gas, for their car or something. I know y'all handling the bills and I respect that, but that doesn't mean that you have to treat them differently just because you're doing a whole lot for them. They're still human at the end of the day. They still have feelings just like you. They still go through things just like you. And it gets to the point where it can be overwhelming. It can be some sort of pressure build up that doesn't even need to be there. It can be some sort of animosity build up between y'all that doesn't even need to be there if y'all not listening, and y'all not being there in the moment when your kid is really trying to talk to y'all. Y'all gonna know. I already know y'all parents already been through things with y'all kids where y'all had that moment where y'all needed to just be there just for them because they were just going through it. They wasn't themselves, and you wanted them to be better. And that's all y'all need to do. It's that simple. It's not that hard, but it is at the same time, especially if you're in your own way. That's the main thing.
Like my biggest thing is I grew up in a house where communication wasn't a strong suit. You know what I mean? Like if you had an emotion, you buried it because you have to go on to the next thing. There's not a whole lot of conversation. There's not a whole lot of discussing how are you feeling. But the one thing that I am proud of is that we're close enough to where I can notice a change
Yeah.
and will quickly identify.
Imagine.
Really?
Imagine. You see us trying to cook.
Take that shirt off.
Man, you just poured all
All
the water on you.
yourself.
Man. This is us, man. I mean, you gotta multitask.
But the reality is this: like, I didn't grow up in a house where conversation was a priority. Like even with trying to fix what was going on or what you're going through, it was never at the forefront of what we were looking at because there were other things to deal with. If you're crying, the question was, why are you crying? Tears ain't gonna fix it. If you didn't get around to have the conversation quick enough, then you didn't get a redo and a do-over to have those conversations later. It was speak now or forever hold your peace. And if you came with too much energy and inflection, it was shut down. Then it was over. And if you came back later, that was in the past. And we not revisiting that thing again. So I try to be very mindful in how I choose to be present. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect in any way in how I navigate this life. I've been in relationships and have been told that I was emotionally neglectful of the other person. But it's like when I'm at home, this is my peace. And then sometimes I think that in knowing what we do for others and we come home to our safe space, we really truly take advantage of the people who we love the most, and we kind of take them for granted in that they're going to be understanding even when they're going through stuff themselves. So the priority for us and really truly what we had to navigate was just being honest and having a conversation that was truly transparent and really truly honest and open and identifying like, hey, no, what you did to me was very dismissive. And I understand that you want to get to the problem to resolve it, but I just need you to be present in the moment with me. And I don't really do well with taking in the emotion. Because, emotions are heavy a lot of times. It's a lot. It's emotions are draining. It can be. I mean, obviously emotions can be good and regards to the fact that they could cleanse you
Yeah.
when you need to be cleansed and allow you to release the things that are burdening you
Yeah.
and that you're carrying on your shoulders. So um it was really a good talk, and even having sitting here to listen today, it's kind of really reiterating those things
Yeah.
that are truly important to you
Yeah.
as a young man and as my son, as we navigate everything moving forward.
Exactly. That's right on the money. I ain't gonna lie. Cause I'm the same way with emotions, dude. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. If somebody crying and they right next to me over here bawling, I'm just gonna look at them like why is this person crying? Like for real, I'm like that too though. Like I'm not people that's high in emotion. I don't respond well to it. I don't even know what to do. I'll be numb. I'll be like, I'm sorry. Like let me give you a hug, but then the hug don't even feel like a real hug. It's just like I'm just giving it to you because I know you sad, and that's probably what you need to kind of help you. But I don't really feel it. I don't feel sad for you. I don't feel that, so it's hard for me to even navigate that with people that's high in emotion too. So it's just like, damn.
I'm the opposite. So I
Yeah.
feel like I'm more of an empath in that I absorb that emotion.
Yeah.
Like I believe that once the energy comes and I'm there, I have a really keen sense of being able to meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing with the work that I do is you always have to be the person with the greater sense of calm,
Yeah.
because people are calling you on their worst day to navigate a problem that is of critical importance to them in that moment, whether you think it's important or not. Tears are complicated, right? Like sometimes you need to tell okay, I need you to shut it off because I got to get to what's wrong,
Yeah.
like, but in many of the instances when you're dealing with people in your loving space and in your safe space and in your home, it's sometimes they just want you to see them.
Yeah.
And that's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
And that's what it really boiled down to for us is I just need you to see me, Mom. Like, I don't want you to treat me like I'm the
Word.
problem. Yeah.
I
Like I'm
mean,
the problem
I
that you have
mean,
to solve. I want you to see me and where I'm at right now in this moment. And it was really, truly eye-opening. And I was like, we have to share this with
yeah.
our audience because it's important. Because, like I said, we're not perfect. We're sharing our experiences and we're learning and growing right along with you. And we are giving you things that we have truly navigated ourselves
Yeah.
in trying to make what this life is for us a little better.
Yeah. Because this life that we live in is unusual, for me. I ain't gonna lie, because it's a lot on both of our plates. We just depending on each other every day, to just make it happen. And if somebody's slipping, we have to pick it up a little bit for them so they morale can get better, and then we can, keep doing it. When somebody morale get down, the other person pick us up, so we gotta be like that because we depending on each other. We gotta raise this little one that keep running all over the house, stomping, and, and set away. And we doing that. But we like she said, we're not perfect. We all make mistakes. We're not gonna be somebody on here that's trying to display the perfect family, the perfect lifestyle, all that, because we still trying to figure it out. It's been years of just
Trial
me,
and error.
yeah, trial and error, me like shutting my emotions off, my feelings off to where I'm not talking. Like I'm just not expressing myself. So it's like now I'm getting to the point level of maturity that I can do that in a healthy way, so we can all be heard versus having that defense mode up.
And I think that was even one of the biggest things. Like, we found therapy. Now, you got to
Man.
think that this conversation is coming from a Black family, a Black man, a Black woman who's been raised in a culture that does not necessarily believe in sharing, number one, what goes on in a house.
Mhm.
Number two, you don't necessarily believe in mental health therapy or counseling or reaching out to someone to really have those conversations. But I'm one person,
Yeah.
and my biggest fear used to be that my son's introverted. I don't want to come home and he's hanging in the closet.
Yeah.
And I know that's might be hard for some people because suicide is a thing and
Mhm.
people have chosen that as an option. And unfortunately, people are hurting
Yeah.
because of it.
Yeah.
And I think that just having those conversations from a person who's lived in a world where I've known at least 4 people who've died by suicide, and at least 2 of them very close to me in my relationships. And so understanding, being that hearing ear and not just an active listener, but really truly hearing what someone is saying to you. Because sometimes people will tell you everything you
Yeah.
need to know.
Yeah.
You just have to be present in the
Yeah.
moment and hear them. And so, um, same thing applies to relationships
Yeah.
and the things that people tell you in regards to who they are as a person, and what they show you at the end of the day is generally spot on to what they said in the very beginning, if you were listening.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times we cover up what is being said to us with something else. And we you as a mom, I was mad. I'm not gonna tell you different. Like, I was like, listen, I'm gonna fight you. You know what I mean? Like, what is happening? I
Yeah.
see that you're not okay, and you're telling me that everything's fine. You just want to navigate it from a different standpoint. And then it was really truly me taking myself out of it
Yeah.
and understanding that he needed me for something different.
Yeah.
And he didn't know how to ask for it without feeling as if he was going to upset me or challenge my parental capacity in
Yeah.
some way. And it's not that, you know what I mean? Like, the love is too great for any type of superiority complex to or ego to fill the room when my baby is in need of his mother. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and it doesn't matter how old he gets, he's going to be my baby. He's my firstborn. He's my ride or die. He's my left hand to this right hand. Like,
Yeah.
it's been us every step of the way from the very beginning, navigating life and what that looks like as a whole. So, like, for me, it was of critical importance to find out what is going on here
Yeah.
and really have us delve into it. So we were like, oh, let's talk about
Yeah.
that, listening versus being heard.
Yeah. Sure. Me. It's just like this really my only parent for real. To keep it a bean on me, keep it 100 with y'all. It's really like my only parent because my other one gave up. I ain't gonna lie. He been giving up from the jump. Not gonna talk too bad about him. But this one right here, it's like if I lose this one, it's like I don't really got nothing else, for real. So it's like I gotta make this work and get out my own way too, cause I be in my own way. Everybody be in their own way sometimes on me. So it's just like I want us to just be able to keep getting stronger, be able to just keep building and learning, and take good criticism from each other and just implement in our lives to just be better people at the end of the day. And if you always butting heads, it's just like, God damn, you gotta do something different, eventually. Cause really this is like the whole me like shutting down and just me just not like expressing myself. It's been like this for years. It didn't just start, you know what I mean? So it's like we've been doing the same thing over and over, and it's nothing is different. I think this right here, just us being able to be vulnerable with each other, that's a big thing because we can hear it and we can feel it.
And I think that what changed the context of the conversation was to be like, listen, I respect what you have to say. I'm creating a space for you to share your thoughts freely. The frustration comes from you wanting to hide it or
Yeah.
mask it from me instead of just being real and honest, because I'm gonna tell you exactly what I feel, and I'm not going to put a filter on it. I might come back later and clean it up and edit it for you to make it something different, but in this moment, this is exactly where I'm at.
Yeah.
And that's how the conversation had to go, and we were like, okay, ready, break.
Yeah.
Because at the end and beginning of it, we all bring something uniquely different to the table. We're a team. And not only that, I love you.
Yeah.
And I want for you to be successful. And what can I do to garner that success and make you feel supported in a way in which you can really thrive,
Yeah.
not only out in the world, but in this internal space that we
Yeah.
share together. And just knowing that your opinion matters. You have equity in this whole estate
Yeah.
of us. You know what I mean? And so it's not one-sided. I'm not always right. And I have the ability to accept when I'm wrong and to say, you know what, I apologize. And I made a mistake, and it's my fault for trying to get to the end without actually navigating or transversing like the journey with you.
Yeah.
And like, for that, I was wrong, and I apologize, and let's start over. How can I be your best help?
Yeah. Really, that's the main thing for me, is just that part. Just the listening part, is being heard when we're actually having a conversation. We both are engaged in it. We're not having no type of distraction or anything like that. We're just all eyes and ears.
And
That's it. That's all I need. It's very simple for me. For other people, they might need a little bit more. They might need you to be doing this and that. But for me to be sane, for my mental health to be, up here versus down here, that's all I need. That's it. Just somebody I know that I can just, like, hey, I need to talk to you for a minute, and we just talk. And I get your opinions after you hear whatever I express. Get with your feedback from it. What you think I should do, or what advice you got. And we just keep conversing like that. That's gonna make us be better. Really, it's that simple, that easy for me.
And the biggest thing was not allowing the conversation to fester.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when we got to a point of contention and disagreement, you shut down, and then it was like, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Well, I personally wanted to finish the conversation, but I respected where you were at in that moment, and I let you have your space. But then I did come back and let's finish it because I'm not one for the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
If anybody knows me, I have to resolve that conflict. What's the problem? Let's address it so that we can move on. Let's eat it and do what we got to do to move it out of the room so that we can navigate, so that I can navigate. Because one of the things, once it's unresolved for me, it's really just something sitting, and I'm thinking about in a loop, and it's like, no, let's not. I don't want to navigate down there, because the conversation and the way it ended so abruptly actually made me upset. Like, okay, what we doing? Because clearly we have a problem here. And if we got a problem, let's resolve it, like, and then just being like, okay, let me be the bigger person. Let me figure out what's going on. Let's have this conversation. This is you have priority here. And whatever happened yesterday, but I need to know what's going on.
Yeah. I was frustrated too. That's why I had to stop talking. I was like, I can't, because when I get that high up in my emotion, I just, it's better for me not to say something at that moment just because I don't know what I'm gonna say. Like it might just be too raw and uncut. It might just be like just mean. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to be mean to my mom. That's my mom. I still got respect for her. So I had to just end it like that just because I couldn't get my thoughts together. I was all over the place. You know, I was just like, damn, I'm trying to explain it. It's just like I'm feeling disrespected because I can't explain it. And I'm like, damn, I'm just frustrated. I can't talk right now. Like we gotta just pause it. Like I'm done. I don't got it. I don't got it no more. I don't got the energy right now. I mean, be like that.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's one of those things. I saw a video once, and the lady was like, treat me like the people that you work with. You know what I
I
mean?
seen
Like
that too.
you're respectful of their feelings. You don't say mean things to them. You try to navigate around them so you can be harmonious at work.
Yeah.
Treat me like that. Lie to me. And I'm like, I don't want to be lied to, but I do want to have that space in
Yeah.
which you feel like there's no threats here.
Yeah.
And that we can openly communicate, and you have someone in this space with you that sees you, and not only sees you but hears you.
Yeah.
So our recommendation moving forward: learn from the mistakes that we made.
Yeah.
Hopefully this conversation can help guide some conversation, or even start some conversations in the spaces that you exist in, whether it's home, whether it's work, whether it's when your friend groups, like talk about it.
Yeah.
What is listening to you, what is being heard, and is there a difference?
Yeah.
And how do you navigate that in the spaces in which you exist? Because it's important. Do you think it's going to improve relationships? And if so, how will it do that for you? And just really looking at it in the world of distractions in which we live, with social
Yeah.
media, cell phones, all the fast everything.
Yeah.
How do you cultivate a better active listening situation within the space that you are expected to show up? And my biggest thing was, let me set my phone down. this right here, you have the floor and
Yeah.
all of it, and completely removing all the other things out of that space. Do you have any insights that you want to end with? Like, what'd you learn out of the whole?
I learned that it's like the more we talk, the more we gonna understand each other. And I know I kind of had that door kind of closed for a minute, so it's a lot of misunderstanding both of each other's emotions and how we are as just people. So as it takes the courage for you to get out your own way and just do it, like do the hard stuff. Like talking sometimes can be hard, especially when it's about your feelings. And that's what I realized is just like you got to be willing to just do that, especially if you want it to really work. You know, I can't give advice to everybody because I don't know how they are mentally. I don't know if they delusional or not. I don't know. But one thing I know for certain is that I'm definitely not alone in this whole dynamic of listening versus being heard. You know, it's a whole lot of people that I know personally, just in my work for in my career that I'm in, and they be telling me, it was like, dang, like my problem with my parents is that I just feel like they just didn't value what I had to say. Like every time we talked about something, they just seemed like they were somewhere else, like it wasn't like they were fully here. And I was just like, well, I'm just not gonna say nothing to them then. I was just like, damn, I was feeling the same way. I thought I was the only one. But it's a lot of people like that has that issue with their parents. And my advice to the parents is, if y'all really care about y'all kids and y'all really love them, like y'all say y'all do, y'all uh you know drop anything and everything for them when they need you. That's what y'all need to do. Take your time, put the phone down, put the distraction down, and just sit there and listen. You know what I mean? Just look there at them, be calm, have a smile, and just listen. Kind of be their therapist, like when you go to the therapist, they just sit there and listen till you talk. And then they give you a little bit of pointers or a little bit of little advice or insight of what y'all just talked about. That's all we need. You know what I mean? That's all we need to just keep moving and keep moving forward. I gotta keep reiterating that because it's really important. So that's my main little intake on that. I want y'all to ask us some questions in the DMs at Hypervigilant Mindset on Instagram. Because we need some more ideas and we want to just see what y'all really think about this episode and what problems y'all have, because it might be different problems that y'all got. So we can definitely talk about that too, because we might have ran into it, but we don't know unless y'all shoot us a DM, shoot y'all shot or something. But yeah, man, that's all I got for y'all today, man.
Well, we appreciate you for coming along through this conversation. And it's just like I said before, you can take away a little, you can take away a lot. Just take away something. I'm Sheena Glover.
And I'm Rashawn McNeal-Lee.
And this is the Hypervigilant Mindset. Thanks for joining us.
We all